Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we actually got this h22a pulled apart. So this thing came in yesterday with a high idle, and we're gonna basically fix everything. It had no power either, no throttle response. So you guys seen in the video, the TPS was actually broke and there was nothing actually on it. Besides that, I started looking over everything and the injector clips were all plugged in wrong. So looked at this and seen they had some random clip on it too. So it is OBD2, but you guys can see how they place here: yellow, blue, red, brown. Well, if you guys know, on Hondas, number one cylinder goes brown, red, blue, yellow. So the firing order was popping off wrong on the injectors. So that's one thing. The grounds were basically all broke. So we're gonna fix those. We're gonna go through the harness. You can see things were soldered. So we're just going to relume this and basically make sure it's all sealed up and good to go. I got rid of their crappy tape job. But then the main power wire, they extended the power wire here, and I kind of wanted, I was gonna cut this and take it off and then show you guys, but I can already tell what is laying behind here. So if you guys can tell in the video, those are clamps. So there's 3 clamps there. So I'm gonna show you guys this here in a sec. I'm gonna cut this open and then I'll see you guys in a sec. All right, boys. You can't make this stuff up. This is too good. So somebody thought that this was a good idea. I mean, it works, don't get me wrong, but we are not leaving that like that. This reminds me of somebody I used to know would do this, I think. But anyways, boys, we got the heater out today too because we're in Canada and it is cold as balls here. So got my trusty Mr. Heater out with my propane heater. Corm was just here. We were talking about putting a mini split in here, and actually looking at a hoist too. So I want to raise this roof, but I think that's a springtime thing. So we were talking about making trusses, or you send your measurements out to the truss guys. You get them built, you bring it over, and then we'll do a steel roof. I think that's the best bet for this shop, right? But yeah, back to the harness. We are going to fix that, fix this, get it all back together. I'm going to pull the VTEC solenoid. You guys see me do that on almost every car. And we are going to clean it, re-lube it, put it back together, and then change this TPS. I'll show you guys how to calibrate that, and just go over a couple other things. We're going to put the right washers on here, and you guys can see this cable here has all that slot because there's nothing holding it other than this. So now I understand why the customer said that it wasn't crossing over, guys. So if you know, you know. This is for your VTEC solenoid itself. This here, you guys can see, they soldered everything, but tape job was junk. So they used this clip, which is the same clip. Just had to make sure they had the wires right. But now looking at it here, they have the VTEC wire to this orange wire. Well, on an EK or 96 to 2000 Civic, the idle air control valve motor actually has 3 wires. So on the older style OBD1, it's just a 2-wire clip, so that for your idle air. So that's your 2-wire here. But you can see the orange one, you basically just remove that. So if I look on this end here, you can see the orange one is there, right? So basically you just don't hook that up, you just put that aside, and then you run your 2-wire. So you just swap it over, and then that's how it works. So obviously this is not working for a VTEC wire, right? So we are gonna go through that. We're gonna add a VTEC wire to this because there is nothing for the pressure switch anyways. So that would make sense why it was not crossing over. It doesn't even have the right system. So we will run our own VTEC wires and then go from there, guys. Let's pull this thing apart, guys. Guess who just got some new clamps? Ooh yeah. Freebies. Not sure what I'll use them on, but not this. Just try to pull this apart. Yep. Just like that. It's crazy, guys. I mean, it worked. It charged, but that's not how it's going back on, boys. Alright guys, got the harness laid back in this thing. Just getting ready to hook up some fuel and whatnot. But I could see here when I pulled it off, I thought they had no top washer. Well, that makes sense because both washers are on the fuel rail itself. So I'm going to pull this one washer off here. I get a little pick and pull that guy off. Don't think I can get it by hand, but pull that guy off and yeah, oh, I got it. So we're gonna pull this guy off. You can see there's another one still down there. So basically, they had made this jumper. So that's just gonna go like this, right? And then we're gonna put our washer, and then our 17 cap. Snug that guy up. So besides that, guys, we got the injectors plugged in right. So we got brown, red, blue, yellow. So those are all firing orders good. I just checked out the wiring for the map sensor. It seems fine. The TPS, we got that hooked up, and basically gonna hook the distributor back up here in a second. Go through the fuel distributor. Still gonna clean the VTEC solenoid, but I'm gonna try it and see how this thing runs because we don't need VTEC for that. And I gotta put my bolts back down, my tray back here, and we'll go from there, boys. The harness, after we fixed it, it still needs an O2 sensor, so I gotta get one of those, an OEM Honda O2 sensor. Should ever sound a lot better, guys. See, the water pump's working well, so everything's sealed up right now. Idle is around 2, so I can't back off. It doesn't have a vacuum leak, so I want to, I'm gonna back this down a little bit because it wants to go down. So I'll get that. I'll get the idle set. It's on just a chip computer, so it's not like I can go into Honda and actually adjust my idle air control valve. So, but everything is working, and the only code that we have right now is our VTEC code. So I'm gonna wire that up, and this thing's gonna be a ripper, I can tell. All right, guys, she sounds something good now. So it still needs a couple things, couple grounds. Upgrade the ground here, this one here, but you guys can hear this motor turn like a kitten, boys. For a 1992 JDM spec. Sounds good. It's idling good. So I'm real proud of this one right now, guys. Look, little spider right there, boys. But this thing's idling perfect. 1100 RPMs. The car came in with about 5 or 6 codes. And as you guys can see, we got no engine light. So you couldn't even throttle rev this thing or nothing. So now, you guys can see, fans coming on, so the thermostat, I bled it real well. Thermostat's opening, and listen to this. Sounds really good, really clean. So it did have that idle air control valve, intake air temperature, O2 sensor, multiple misfires, engine coolant temp. Basically a lot of stuff. So I'm gonna go over the vacuum lines too. You guys can see I got a zip tie because this is your main map. This tells your computer what's going on, right? So you don't want this to blow off whatsoever, or it's just gonna dump a bunch of fuel. So but yeah, boys, so I wanted to bring you along today. We come across some bad stuff in the harness, but we got that all figured out. It's running stronger than ever, and I can't wait to give it back to my buddy, and he can basically have fun with this thing, right? So this thing should be a real ripper, and I can't wait to see it run the streets. So it's got a Magnaflow twin loop. Give you guys a couple shots. Yeah, buddy. That sounds awesome, man. Really excited about this one. That's it, boys. Alright guys, let's go try this thing out here. This is a straight H22. Try to maneuver between all these cars here. So this setup myself, you can hear the belt winding. So I'm going to recommend doing a belt to it at some time, but I would like to make sure that it's actually 100% on time. Good throttle response. Seem to cross over there. I don't know what VTEC's at though. Oh, we got an engine light, so that's something to look at, boys. We got a little engine light now. That's what you gotta do to make sure. Oh, $6 grand VTEC's at. You guys must have heard it pop off there. Like a TSX, $6 grand. Keeps hanging the idle too. I don't know why. Because it'll. Fine. Just hangs that idle for some reason. Feel the exhaust rubbing underneath me, boys. now. So we're at a start, boys. We're gonna pull it back in, check our codes, and we'll go from there. I didn't clean the VTEC solenoid, so I'm gonna check that out too. But hopefully it doesn't have any bearing problems or anything. But it seems to drive all right for not being driven for a long time. Lots of torque down low. I think it just needs a nice computer when you can set VTEC around 45.5. When my car went 1260 at 110 with the stock h23 V16 setup, it actually went 1260 at 110 like that with at 4500 RPM. So I revved it to 8250 and then 8450 in fourth, just to stretch out the gears. But so right now it's idling totally fine, so I'll show you guys that. But we got the check engine light, so we're gonna check the check engine light, and you guys can see now it's not hanging, it's idle. So I'll check that and we'll go from there. Alright guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And you guys can see I fixed that ground real quick. He's gonna get the proper ones, but this is way better than what was on it.